Hey, what's up everybody? It's Ivan here, and in this new series of videos we're going to learn OpenCV in Python by making memes. And that's really as it sounds like, right? You're going to be making memes and learning OpenCV. Now, what I mean by that? Basically like a couple of months ago, I had a chance to teach high school students at a basically local state-sponsored like tech camp, and I was there to teach them computer vision. And obviously, if you want to teach somebody computer vision, like OpenCV is the most powerful library in the neighborhood that deals with that. And basically, I've had an idea to basically start introducing the OpenCV library by making memes, and the results were like so cool and fun, like for me also. Basically we spent maybe like the first 5 hours, which is like 1.5 day or something, learning OpenCV this way. We have like meme reviews at the end of the lessons, and it was basically a really effective way to get the fundamentals of OpenCV, like how do you read images, how do you process them, how you can save them, display them, work with the webcam, how you can basically paste images in each other, how you can basically work with an image, like edit the image on the basically pixel level, like using cycles, like adding some like negative effects, change colors, and like all this stuff. It sounds legit, and it's actually legit, and throughout the series I'll be pointing you to where it can be used, like say in machine learning for like data augmentation stuff and pre-processing of images. But it's also something that's required to make memes. So we're gonna learn memes, and alongside we're gonna get some cool and valuable skills on how to work with OpenCV. It's going to be especially useful for those of you who maybe either want to like brush up their basics of OpenCV, or those of you who are starting out. This is like the best probably place for you to start getting into the library. So yeah. So now let's actually go over my setup here. As I said, this is going to be really the series basically for beginners, or for the people who like want to brush up their OpenCV skills and the basics, the foundations of the library basically. So basically we'll go over the setup, and so that we can get the making of memes as quickly and as smoothly as we can, because memes is pretty much what keeps the society together these days, especially. So right, I have Python 3.6 installed on my computer, and basically if you want to know, like I'm assuming you have Python installed, like it's pretty easy to do. Just go to the official website and get it. If you want to know where your Python is installed, you can go to the basically console and type there where Python. I'll give you like the paths. Here's where mine is installed. And if you want to install OpenCV through your Python, you go to the scripts folder. You open the scripts folder in the console again, so that you can basically use the pip command. Now, it's like super straightforward stuff, right? And anybody who's installed the module in Python can do this. So you install OpenCV in Python this way. Say pip install OpenCV -Python, and just type it in there, press enter. In my case, it's already installed. Like if you don't have OpenCV, download it. So now basically at this point we got Python and also NumPy, which I'll talk about more. Which I'll basically talk about more now. So now that we've basically set up our Python and we have OpenCV installed, the development environment that I will be using for this series is PyCharm, which a really nice IDE with a lot of nice features, and that we'll explore. So if you want to follow me in the same IDE that I'm using, just go to PyCharm, just Google PyCharm and get it. Like the community version is free. And once you get your PyCharm, here's we gotta create our folder, basically the folder for our project. I called my OpenCV memes. I've just placed it on my desktop, and then you like go ahead and basically open that folder with, with PyCharm. And yeah, and that's basically all the setup, almost, because once you'll open the folder over project in PyCharm, we need to link like this project in PyCharm that we're doing to the Python on our computer where we have installed OpenCV. So we can go to settings, project interpreter, and here you can basically see all the Python environments that you got on your computer, and just select the one which remember the path to where the Python is installed. So you basically select this guy here. I've already done that, and you'll be able to use the Python on your computer in PyCharm for doing awesome stuff and coding. And yeah, so go ahead and do that. So now that we've set up everything, basically now we are ready to start learning OpenCV and making memes. But if you want to start making memes, right, we can go like real brutal and start from nothing. But I'm actually a fan of the approach where we get a few images that we can start like working with in terms of memes, right? Here's like the blinking guys, and we got some like Drake images that we probably will use in the series, right? And the way I got these images, and maybe you got like a giant library of meme images somewhere in your computer, or like in print format, I don't know, like under your table or something. I can get those, but I basically googled like meme image on Google Images and like downloaded a few meme images that seemed fun, you know what I mean? And yeah, and I've basically placed them in my OpenCV folder. So got the meme images we'll start working with, and the environment, and yeah, so like go ahead, get creative, get your meme images that we'll start working with, and I'll see you once you get them. So now let me give you some real quick theory before we get to the actual practice. Basically, when we're working with the OpenCV library, right? We're working with the OpenCV library in Python depends on the NumPy library. And NumPy is basically a real strong library that's for that allows you to do all sorts of things with tensors and matrices, like multiply them, take dot products, I don't know, like take slices of them. It's like you can basically take NumPy and write your like neural net from scratch with NumPy, explaining all the operations. Like it's basically the library for like linear algebra operations and for like storing tensors and stuff. And probably many of you know, probably many of you might not know, but these images that we see, they are actually matrices or tensors rather, because like especially like in OpenCV, right, we can go and say import OpenCV, which is the way we imported computer vision to in Python. And when we load an image, say we're gonna load blinking guy, right? Let's go for the blinking guys. We can use the command cv2 imread image read to load it, and all we give it is cv2.imread, and then we give it like blinking guys. It's everything is happening like in the same folder, so I don't have to like specify a specific path because it's relative paths that work here. And the comp blinking guys.jpg. And when we load the image and we'll print the image, what we'll get is a bunch of numbers. And the reason why that is the case is because, in case you didn't know, images are like, they're tensors of numbers. They are matrices, in case if they're like two-dimensional, and a matrix is basically a two-dimensional array of numbers. And matrices are basically grayscale images because, all we got there is width, height, and on the two axes, we got the pixels and the intensity of the pixel from 0 to 255. If the pixel is 0, on that scale, and I'll like probably show you like an image here or something. But if the pixel value there is 0, like it goes black. If it's 255, it goes white for the grayscale images along the two axes of width and height, right? And for the color images, things are a little bit more, actually like just a little bit more complex, because with the colored images, we're dealing essentially with a tensor, and tensor is basically, you know, like matrices have like 2 dimensions, it's width and height, and tensors, they're like n-dimensional. And so the colored images, they go in the RGB format, which basically means that they got width, height, and then they got, you know, 3 channels. And depending on what the values are, so like each pixel now basically has 3 values for the red, green, and RGB and the blue colors, and if all of them are 255, which is the maximum value, the pixel goes white. If, say, you know, only the blue pixel is firing, then the pixel is blue. If all of them are zeros, then the pixel is black. But basically, you know, when we load, you know, the blinking guys, this image right there, we're loading essentially a tensor, the 3-dimensional tensor of numbers, and then yeah, and when we print it with the print function, it kind of shows us a simplified version of what's in there. Like, as you can see, like there, look, like those dots, like it's not actually printing us like all the pixels. But if we want to get like all the pixels, and if we want to like check the shape, we can go and remember, like when we print it, this is basically the NumPy, also import NumPy as in P, which is, remember that really cool library for dealing with like tensors and linear algebra operations and stuff. So it's that real cool library for dealing with that sort of thing. And the image that we load with OpenCV is essentially NumPy tensor. So we can go ahead and say print image that shape, because we can first of all put what type the actual image is, and then we'll see, like it's a NumPy in the array, right, of which is, you know, bunch numbers, like a 3-dimensional array of numbers basically. And we can go ahead and in this NumPy in the array got the function shape. So if we go ahead and print the image shape, we'll get its height, and this is something to look out for, because when we print, you know, shape in this way, it gives us first height, then it gives us width, and then it gives us the amount of channels, right? It gives us the height, width, and the channels. The reason why there are 3 channels is, again, because it's a colored image, and colored image got 3 values for each pixel to basically, you know, give it a bunch of colors, and like yeah. And if we go ahead and we check the blinking guys image, and we go to the info, we'll see, you know, basically, you know, it's the same thing. It's 3,000 pixels in width, 1,000 pixels in height, and yeah. And it doesn't say here the amount of channels, but obviously when we actually load the image in its like raw format, it'll have 3 channels because it's a colored image, and that's the format that most of them are used. Now, I've mentioned that the colored images go in the RGB format. So in OpenCV, they kind of like historically, when we load the image, we'll talk about that more actually, but they are in BGR in OpenCV, which means that the first channel is the blue color, then the green color, and then the red color. So yeah. Now, we've loaded the image into the Python, basically into the Python variable, into the NumPy in the array. Now the question is like, yeah, it's kind of like cool, but you know, like, what's the point of that? Like, we got the image in a variable, so what cool does like that do? And the thing there is that we can actually display the image with OpenCV, and it's really, really nice. We can use the function imshow, image show, in other words, that takes the window name, it will call meme window, and that takes the actual image that we wanted to display, which is, you know, I'll show you in it's basically like the graphic user interface of OpenCV stuff. So we give it our tensor, our NumPy array of image, and then we click run, and as you can see, a window pops up and then it shortly disappears, right? And to prevent it from disappearing, we give it another parameter there, which we say OpenCV await key 0. And what that means is that when we run the code, the image, the window will pop up, and it will not disappear before we click. So it won't disappear, but when we click any key on the keyboard, or I guess if we just click on it, or no, if we just, it'll disappear only when we click a certain key on the keyboard, like any key at this point. So yeah. Now, but as you have seen, right, when this image is like really widthy image, right? So it doesn't really fit into the screen, and what we can do about it, right? So we learned how to read the images, print their shapes, because like remember, images the NumPy in the array tensor of three-dimensional tensor of numbers, basically, right? So if you want to display the window but have the window be initially smaller, what we can do is to add a few nice parameters here as well. We can go at the top of the code and we can say OpenCV named window, and I will give it the window name that we're using, meme window, and I will put here OpenCV window normal, cv2.window normal. This is us basically giving the giving it the parameters for how to resize the window, and then we can say OpenCV resize window. We give it the window name, new window, then it's width and height. Let's go for like 500. So as you can see now, the window, like our image is still in the resolution that we got before that, right? So our image is still like 3,000 in width and 1,000 in like height and stuff like that. But now the initial window is smaller, so it actually fits there, and we can like resize it how we want. And so yeah, like that's actually already seems like something that we can like make memes with. Now I want to start our meme making journey with introducing like all memes. A bunch of memes got some text in them, and OpenCV. So let's start with like putting some text on the meme, and we can do that with OpenCV, no problem. So now I went ahead and I added some comments here and there, and so here's the top level of what's happening. Like we set up the window parameters like in OpenCV, we load our image, and then we display the image. Now, in between of us loading the image as a NumPy array, right, and displaying it, we can do whatever we want with it, right? And so one thing we can do is to add text with the OpenCV function cv2.putText, basically. So we go ahead and we say cv2 put text. We give it the image, which is like where it's going to draw the text, and we give us the actual text, like this is meme text. And don't worry, like we'll add some creativity there as well. But now we gotta actually position the text right, because the next parameter on the list is the coordinates, is the basically I think it's bottom left coordinates or bottom right of our text. So let's say 100 pixels by 100 pixels x, 100 pixels y, and then we give it the font. The font, if you like, the selection of fonts here goes like cv2 font underscore, and here you can basically pick the font you want. I like Hershey Complex, or like Hershey Simplex actually is a pretty good one. Then we can give it the font scale, which I'll set as 1. but you can give it like 1.5 or 0.4. This is like the way you change the size of your text. And like you can already kind of see how you can, maybe add some code, and you can like generate or like create all sorts of memes with it, or like do some other stuff, obviously too. Now, then we gotta specify the color of the text, and we specify the color. Obviously, if you have the image, the image has 3 channels of color, so all colors basically specified by 3 values from 0 to 255. And so when we want to give it the color, we like if you want to make it white, that's what we do. We say that and remember, OpenCV works in BGR, so when we want to make it white, and we say that the blue color, the blue pixel, the green pixel, and the red pixels are 55, but let's say I want our color to be red right now. And then the last parameter is line thickness. This one's gonna be important in just a moment, but line thickness, let's also set it as 1. Let's see what happens. This is new text. Font Hershey, okay, obviously font Hershey simplex is the guy I was looking for there. Okay, so you can see that our text is there, but because the image is our image is big, and by the way, like the image that you got may be different. Like it may be a smaller image, so the text might be bigger there. But in my case, as you can see, like we can barely see the text. So we can obviously manipulate the font scale. Like let's say font scale will be now 5, and line thickness will be 3. Let's see how that goes. It's a little bit better, but we can also move the text down a little bit along the y-axis, say like 500. Okay, add some more line thickness, maybe at least 5. Okay, now it's visible. Let's also change, because as you can see, this is a wide meme. We can go ahead and change the width of the window to be 1000. Oh, the wrong guy. We can go ahead and change the actual width to be 1000. Okay, so now we got the text there, and right. Okay, this is more like, but let's say in the tradition of memes, I'm gonna go ahead and show you one trick now. So let's say we put the text there, and it's not the final text, but it's the text, it's there. So in a bunch of memes, you see the text being you got the white text and it kind of outlined by that nice black text. And you can do that to OpenCV using code. Now, here's how. So let's say our text is white. Let's add some actually more line thickness to it. Maybe 6 something, maybe even 7. On this is meme text. Okay, and obviously the text looks a lot of times better when we add the outlining. And so how do you think, how can we outline this text? There isn't a parameter that says give me the outline of this color. But if you think about what outlining the text is, it's basically kind of almost we have a more thicker text in the same position in the background. So if we'll go ahead and we'll copy this line with basically the same text, right? And if we now run the program, nothing will happen, because it'll basically print 2 times the same text of the same size in the same position. But if we go ahead and we tweak the line thickness such that right now it'll it'll print, as you can see, our text got wider, but there's still no outlining. So it's basically because it first printed the smaller, the less thicker, the thinner text, and then it printed the thicker text. But if we change now the color of it, we'll actually see all black text right now, right there. Okay, all black text right now. But if we first print this kind of thicker black text, and then we print the thinner white text, we'll see that we'll get like that nice outlining effect, right? I mean, look at it. Like, this is kind of, you know, look, this seems legit, right? Like, it's kind of a meme, actually, right? Pretty much. So we achieved that effect of that cool, you know, outlining in OpenCV by essentially first printing the thicker, right, the text with the higher line thickness. So we print like the thicker black text, and then on top of that, like, it modifies the image, right? So like when we make it, like, it actually changes the pixel values there, and then on those updated pixel values, we in the same position we print we print the thinner white text and get that like nice effect of outline text. So now let me actually go ahead and do some tweaks with the position of the text and make my meme happen. So here's the meme I got. Pandemic happens, but you can still code memes, and that's you know, like, if you can do that, we can basically survive everything. So you know, we can also then in the future, in the next video, we'll explore how we can like play with colors, you know, such that, you know, maybe we want this meme to have a bit of a darker feel to it. Maybe, you know, we can say color BGR, which is the OpenCV color to grayscale. Then we have like the whole gray look to it, or maybe we like wanna convert to some like weird color. You know, we get like some. We'll talk about that. But obviously there's a bunch of fun happening there with colors, and yeah, but we'll basically get that right in the next part of the video. So I will set up the Google Drive folder, because, like, you know, when I was teaching like this stuff in person, we basically had like a bunch of fun doing meme reviews at the end of each lesson, and yeah, why not do that with you guys as well? So if you're enjoying the series and you're making your memes, I will basically leave link to a Google Drive folder where you can post your memes, or you can tweet them at me on Twitter at IvanGrav, and, you know, basically when I get like some memes there, I'll like do a video, a meme review video, and, you know, you can basically like maybe throw in like some your name or something, like your link, and we'll have a bunch of fun reviewing your memes. And yeah, so thank you for watching. If you got questions, like, leave them down in the comment section. Show me your memes. It's gonna be a bunch of fun to look at them. We're gonna do a lot more fun stuff in the upcoming videos. And like, as I've said, like, this is not just about making memes, like, right? I think, you know, this is clearly a lot about making memes, but the basic skill that we'll learn, it'll basically allow you to go and then start like doing, say, computer vision, machine learning much more easily on the OpenCV side. So if you want to support me, some ways to do that are in the description down below. Thank you if you do. I hope you guys are safe and your loved ones are safe, and that, you know, that we basically make it through. And so stay safe, everybody. Bye bye. I'll see you in the next one.